Hi, I'm Astral. I'm a Prestige 100 artist main, currently writing the artist guide, and today I got brought to my attention some interesting proposals, and I wanted to look into this and give a kind of in-depth response to how I would go about these. So it all started when a good creator of mine told me that our good friend Revium has made a tier list based on random average player lists with sections that indicate desire for where I want the game to go balance wise. So down here, so let me quickly flip over here for you guys. We have Blight in what the fuck tier because obviously the average player can pretty much get Blight down within 3 hours and start steamrolling. Blight is very, very easy to pick up. A lot of Blight players say he's really hard. He's really not. I'm sorry. He's pretty easy to pick up. Next up is the nerf and buff the role, which is interesting because it's kind of a little bit both. Um, and then Nurse is S tier because the average player cannot dominate with Nurse, unlike Blight. Um, but, and you can make your own assumptions about, come to your own conclusions about these players. However, obviously, we are here to talk about artists who is in probably the odd one out of this tier list. She is in the why is this killer left in this state? Give them love non-power level tier. In my opinion, I think artist is probably the hot take out of this. Most of these players I agree. Although Howmaster, once she gets her bugs cleaned up, she will probably start wrecking shop. Obviously, Skull Merchant, Trapper, Trickster are pretty bad. Hag's another one, but I don't know Hag, so I can't give a opinion on her. However, I know Artist in and out, so I'm going to give my opinion on her. And we have our good friend Lorenzo over here, who asked, "What's wrong with Artist?" And Rev gives us a response. She's dysfunctional without add-ons. She needs kit cleanup and help in the form of making her a digestible experience for modern DBD. Largely, I wouldn't change her game plan, but it can be a million times cleaner and less clunky. Um, Sorry about that. That was my Xbox in the background. Um, and then obviously there's a few more. This one doesn't really matter, but Mike here says she needs Severed Hands base kit, Severed Tongue, and Thick Tart base kit, and rework those add-ons into something else that helps her switch playstyle bit, and she's good to go for a lot of players. Rev says he would do this in addition to removing the melee bird damage zone from her kit. I think it's a lot healthier to make her kit more fun and focused around swarm management. So let's start with these. So the first statement here is she's dysfunctional without add-ons. That is straight up not true. I have played her without add-ons. I actually did that after seeing this tree, and she still felt perfectly fine. Add-ons definitely help. They definitely make her feel better. But she still has one of the best base kits in the entire game. She still has great resource denial. She can hit people across the map with walls. Add-ons definitely help make it easier. Like Velvet Fabric would definitely make sniping much easier. Sever Hands definitely does help, but she isn't dysfunctional compared to other killers like Trapper. Trapper without add-ons is a much worse experience. Same with, I would also say, someone said Knight. I don't highly agree, so I would have to ask Pixie about that opinion. Even though some people say like he really struggles without Map of the Realm. I would say before, yes, but now that he's gotten a touch, he feels a lot better without the need of add-ons. But no, she is not in the same tier of Trapper without the add-ons. She needs a kit cleanup. We'll stop at this real quick and then get on to this next statement. Kit cleanup, I would kind of agree, but also kind of not, because she definitely needs a few little touch-ups. For example, I would say Velvet Fabric should be partially base kit. Other than that, I don't think she really needs that much help because a lot of Arceus' issues are not herself. A lot of it is the maps and the elevation and the lockers. The lockers can be a really painful experience for many artist players. In fact, that is one of the reasons why we have a fake beef with dredge players, because dredge players need lockers to teleport around. So they're always like, we need to add lockers, and us artist players are like, no, no, keep them away. But a lot of her issues are not necessarily the her own power. So I think otherwise she is perfectly fine. This statement help in the form of making her a digestible experience for modern DVD. I would like to see expanded on. Like, I want you to kind of, because what is a digestible experience for modern DVD? So I would like to see a little bit of clarification on that. Wouldn't change your game plan, but it can be a million times cleaner and less clunky. Well, you kind of, we'll get down to this. So Mike here, sorry Mike, I gotta call you out as a fellow artist main. I've been saying this for ages. She needs severed hands, severed tongue, and thick tar base kit. We'll ignore this served here. Severed tongue, yes, but that is a huge if, because severed tongue is my personal favorite add-on. It is a very much comfort add-on for me. I run it with severed hands, and severed tongue basically helps me win like 80% of my 50-50s. When I'm at pallet, have the bird there like tipping. If I miss, like when the survivor like does the, the swing around to do dodge, severed tongue basically lets me get that down because I recover 0.5 seconds faster. So I'm able to get that hit most of the time. So it's one of those things where it's like, maybe, but we have to be very careful. Severed hands, no. Look at me. Look at me, artist mains. I need to tell you, severed hands will not be base kit. Do not make it base kit. I am sorry. The reason why I feel so strongly about this is because severed hands has the solo queue issue. This would become almost like a equivalent to like Legion or Pinhead, where it's like this add-on alone would make you a pub, like a insanely strong pub stomper without the requirement of an add-on, by the way. You could add like Garnet Rot to this with Severed Tongue, maybe even add like Matea's baby shoes, so you can make looping even easier without the mind games. Like place, like they're behind a wall, you place bird up, you don't even need to guess, you just have Matea's, and then you're still a threat outside. You're one of her best add-ons base kit, while she has insanely good add-ons already, would make her a massive pub stomper, and you're already an insanely good killer. Thick Tar is a maybe. We'd have to do something about Festering, because Festering and Thick Tar add up to 1 second each, so having that 0.2 difference kind of will be a little weird. Because it takes 8 seconds to repel the swarm. And if you send one bird, it's a 5-second cooldown. So yeah, basically you kind of have like 3 second window, which is really nice. But it's one of those things where it's like this would become more of a problem in chase, because unlike the Unknown, you know how Unknown has his power that he can use in chase hit people. You can force survivors to reset their cooldown, whether through vaulting or dropping a pallet. So with this addition, this would make her much more of a pain in chase, which would be even worse. Rework those add-ons. Just rework Charcoal Stick, and we're good. maybe do a fewer add-ons, but I think the only add-on that really needs touching is Charcoal Stick. It is one of the worst add-ons. Then we go down here. Yeah, in addition, I'll do all of these. In addition to removing melee bird damage zone from her kit, I think it's a lot healthier to make her kit more fun and focused around swarm management. Heavily disagree. I think that, so not only should Severed Hands not become base kit, removing the melee bird damage zone would hurt a lot of her anti-loop potential and her sniping potential, because you have to remember that even with these, lockers still exist. So if they just hit with the like, cross maps are already hard enough to do with some lockers existing. Obviously, if the survivor doesn't hop in a locker, great, have fun. But this would hurt this would essentially make her a time sync character, unlike Unknown, where you essentially become a swarm shotgun, swarm shotgun, swarm one bird, three bird, one bird, three bird. So you essentially reduce a lot of her anti loop, um, uh, to become bird shotgun, bird shotgun, bird shotgun, essentially as your anti chase because one of the good things about Artis is the fact that she can block off a lot of objects very well. There's a whole strat called the tipper because you put the tip of the path onto the pallet. Most survivors don't know where it is, and it feels really nice. So having it all essentially be a swarm dependent would feel really awful because you're already fighting lockers, you're already fighting elevation. Because if you're swarming someone in chase and they go up some stairs, unless you're right behind them and able to go up their stairs with them, you're not getting that hit. You're not getting that hit. Say you're on Orman and you're at Shack and you hit someone at main gen. Once they go up those stairs, you can't do anything. Or they could just hop in a locker, which is already frustrating enough. So removing that damage element would hurt her a lot. In Artis main pitch this to me, I think it makes it so much easier to turn around her multiple levels of play as well. Yes, when the character becomes one-dimensional, it's very easy to turn around her. There is a lot of issues with Artis already, such as the birds not consistently going over the pallet. A lot of Artis fans know what I'm talking about, where if you try to place a bird like in front of a pallet, the damage lane doesn't extend, it just hits that, which can feel already frustrating enough. But I don't like how this would be true to make her kit more fun. When you essentially remove a huge part of her anti-loop and basically make her a time sync character that, because you're essentially making a better Unknown, and that's already something a lot of Unknowns don't really like, is that the power can be just cleansed in front of them and they have to start at zero again. But they get by with this with the mobility, being able to teleport cross map, and granted, hence it can be cleansed. Artis doesn't have that. She doesn't have mobility. That is one of the things that does keep her in check. She does not have mobility like Billy, like Blight, like Spirit, but she can hit people cross map, and she can have a really strong anti-loop power. But I think that this just sounds like a singularity change, where it's like you basically make her, like, you dumb her down to basically this is your playstyle. You swarm and then injure, and I feel like that's something that wouldn't be fun for most players. She is the 5th least played character already, and she already has like a lot of issues because this isn't addressing her main issues, which is why a lot of people don't play her: lockers and elevation. So removing something that makes her feel that she actually has, such as her anti-loop, which, yeah, I have to use sometimes because I face really good players who know how to abuse elevation and lockers, where I'm like, okay, I have to block off this loop. Removing this would make it feel really bad, especially if we're not adding a velvet fabric. In my opinion, I would completely get rid of this. Artis, in my opinion, feels perfectly fine as she is. She just needs a few little touch-ups. In my opinion, she needs velvet fabric, base kit, severed tongue base kit test. We're gonna test it, because I want to make sure it's not as strong as I fear it would be, because severed tongue really does help a lot. And I would rework charcoal stick, but a lot of her issues are not her, which is interesting because a lot of people say she feels clunky. I think she feels perfectly fine. The second, like, 1 second summon place, she feels great. She feels very great. Add-ons definitely help, but essentially, this is untrue. Yes, to an extent. No. Test. No. And Absolutely not. And yes, when you make the character very one dimensional, she does become very easy to balance around.